Welcome back. By now you should have clearly identified your target market and where their attention is at. That would have helped you to select the right marketing channels in order to generate leads. The goal of this video is now to look at a couple of sales tips to help you convert those leads into sales. Sales is the fourth building block of your viable business model. And sales is nothing other than a good product or service that people need at an affordable price, communicated clearly with the right sequence, which means you win their attention, you have a logical message, and they trust you. We're going to look now at how do you structure a sales pitch. You can use the sales pitch online, over the phone, or you can use it in person. You can also tweak it a bit and use the same principles for when you meet a possible investor and you need to give him an elevator pitch. Number one, you want to connect with a prospect. People buy from people. So make sure when you start your call, you're friendly, you're straight to the point, and you ask questions to really understand the person on the other side. Make sure that when you understand them, you can identify what's their real need. What do they need? Because if you sell them what they need or a logical solution to what they need, the chances of making the sale increases drastically. So the second step would be to really identify what the need is and create a logical solution for the customer. That logical solution means you need to really understand your value proposition, which is the need, the urgency, the logic. And once you understand that, it helps you to really cut through the call and get the right message through. Now there's a certain point in the sales call, which is number 4, where you might hit a bit of a roadblock. You're not sure if the customer's really into it or if it's going to buy or if something may be stopping them. So what I would suggest is that you really abruptly try to remove the red tape. What is blocking the sale from progressing? That is an absolute key question. And there's a FOGG behavior model that basically means B equals MIT. B is behavior equals, basically it says all behavior equals motivation, ability, and trigger. For you to act in any way, you need to be motivated, you need to have the ability, and something needs to trigger you. So you've got to ask yourself, what's possibly blocking the sale? And there might be 2 reasons. Number 1, motivation. The customer or the prospect's not motivated to buy your product or service because it's not really a need or a solution to their need. The second option is ability. And ability can go both ways. Either they can't produce what you need in order to make the sale, or either they can't afford your product or service and it means they're not able to continue with the process. Now, as a salesperson or as an entrepreneur, you need to identify what's blocking the sale and then create a solution that you can continue with the process. And lastly, I would suggest that you get your customer or your prospect to commit. People have a huge bias or need to be seen as consistent. And once they go on the record and take a stand and commit towards something, they don't want to disappoint other people and they don't want to be seen as inconsistent people. So try to get a commitment from the prospect on a certain date that you can continue with the process. That in a nutshell is a sales pitch, and you can tweak it a bit, whether it's in person, whether it's over a phone call, or whether you need to create an elevator pitch. Make sure firstly you connect, make sure secondly you understand the person, make sure thirdly that the value proposition is sound, straight to the point. Number 4, make sure you remove the red tape. And number 5, get the person to commit either to a payment date or either to a meeting date or whatever the case is. And then lastly, I want to touch on the phases of making a sale. You know, normally we watch these movies and we think that sales is just these charismatic people that's over the phone and they've got these personalities, they manipulate people, etc., etc. That's not the case. Sometimes a sale happens in phases, and there's 3 key phases you need to identify of the sales process to make sure that you don't lose the sale in the long run because you became impatient. Number 1, there's an introduction phase, somewhere where you and the prospect meet each other. That's when you give your original message and your sales pitch, and then you always send the prospect away with a possible commitment date. The second part is negotiate. Now you need to follow up. It's not just about giving him all the information once off and never touching base again. You want to follow up and ask them if they had a chance to think about the offer, and is there anything that's possibly blocking the sale. You're now negotiating, so get out the FOGG behavior model. Make sure you've identified the ability and the motivation behind the purchase. And lastly, close the deal. Cash is king. If the money is not in the bank, it's not a sale. You're sitting with a big problem. That in a nutshell is my take on sales. I will see you guys in the next video.